welcome to Behind the Music for Daily Hope. I'm Kristin, Holton, Prouty, back here on the bench with you as we share our fourth and final week of Advent. Our word for this week is love. There are many passages in the Bible that talk about love, but I'm not sure that any of them use the word love as many times as 1 John 4. I'd like to read part of that for you. Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. This is how God showed his love among us. He sent his one and only Son into the world that we might live through him. This is love, not that we loved God, but that he loved us and sent his Son as an atoning sacrifice for our sins. Dear friends, since God so loved us, we also ought to love one another. In that short passage, the word love is used 11 times. 11 times, speaking about love and how love came down for us in the form of the baby. There's a poem by the English poet Kristin Rossetti. And in this poem that she writes, she also uses the word love 11 times. And I don't think that's a coincidence because she was inspired by this Bible text to write the poem. It's a really sweet poem. It was first published in 1885. And since then, it was set to music by many different composers. One of them is John Rutter, and if you tune in or come on Sunday, you'll get to hear our choir sing that version of it. But also Jars of Clay took this poem, Love Came Down at Christmas, and made a contemporary version of it. So I'm going to read you the first stanza of this poem. Love came down at Christmas, love all lovely, love divine. Love was born at Christmas, star and angels gave the sign. It's a really simple text. She just uses simple words, but she's trying to convey that same feeling of love coming down as a gift to us. Now, often this has been paired with the Irish tune Garton, and it's not in our hymnal, but you might recognize it. I'm going to play it for you. Do you recognize that? I think some of you might. Love came down at Christmas. So there was an American organist, musicologist, historian, composer named Murray Bradshaw. Dr. Bradshaw taught at UCLA for almost 40 years, and the bulk of his research had to do with early music. He was interested in some of the sacred music, the forms of that, and so on. That's what his research was centered around. And so you can see some of that influence, or hear, I guess more accurately, some of that influence in the pieces that he wrote for organ. So he has a setting of this Love Came Down based on the Garton tune. And it's really simple, in keeping with this simple text and this simple but profound idea of love coming down for us. It begins simply, it hints at the melody, but he has this descending kind of motive that I think is symbolically showing how love comes down. Let me play it for you. So did you hear that kind of falling feeling of coming down as we go descending down the scale a little ways, that love coming down for us. Then he goes into a second section that we would call in music a bicentennium. It's two parts. The left hand is now playing the melody very clearly, and the right hand is playing a counter melody. So did you hear that in the left hand? There's our melody. And then we have this one and which is something that happened in early music too. These little counter melodies over a melody. So he's made a simple arrangement of this lovely text. Love came down at Christmas. I hope this week that you experience love. If it's not earthly love, I hope you feel that love of God coming down in this precious gift that he gave just for us, this promise of a love coming at Christmas, which will be here before we know it. I look forward to being with you again next week.